It's an honor, as me and Mohammed Wafi, on behalf of the Palestinian community in the Northeast, it's an honor for me to invite Dr. Husam Zomlot to the stage to deliver his speech.
Before we start, we have many Palestinian members here tonight who have lost loved ones in Gaza and in the West Bank in the last few months. May I ask you for a moment of silence in memory of all those who have perished because of this devastation. Thank you. On behalf of the Palestinian leadership, on behalf of the Palestinian president, and on behalf of the Palestinian people, I'd like to really extend my heartfelt thank you to the great city of Newcastle. We have been following with inspiration what you have done over the last 7 months. Unprecedented. Day in, day out, week in, week out, demos, marches, pickets, activism, all over. You've turned your city into a city of true global solidarity and solidarity with Palestine. And before I start, it really did touch my heart to see our wonderful children at the beginning of this event. Can you join me in applauding these?
Fair to say that all of us in the room this evening have been absolutely sickened and horrified beyond belief at the images coming out of Gaza. Those who are out on the streets week in, week out, hundreds of thousands of us outside of Westminster almost every Saturday, demanding that our so-called leaders and democratically elected officials stand on the right side of history and call for a permanent immediate ceasefire and an end to the arms trade with the Zionist entity of Israel.
International humanitarian law states that the emblem of the Red Cross and the Red Crescent should be protected, and those bearing these emblems should never be targeted. Yet to date, since October 7th, the Israeli occupation have murdered 27 members of the Palestine Red Crescent. It was the Palestine Red Crescent volunteers who retrieved the bodies of the murdered World Kitchen workers and transported them to the Rafah border, where they could be sent back to their home countries and given a proper funeral by their families, something thousands of Palestinians have been denied the right of this past few months. They are often refused access to treat the injured and retrieve the martyred, and have been forced to work with extremely limited medical supplies as Israel continues to heavily restrict the flow of aid and medicine into the Gaza Strip. Many of the volunteers themselves have lost family in this aggression, yet they continue to respond despite themselves grieving, being sleep deprived and not receiving adequate food and water.
It really does give me great honour to introduce one of the strongest fighters I know for the Palestinian people, Mick Bowman.
For non-Palestinians such as myself, who have had the opportunity and privilege to spend time in the occupied Palestinian territories, as well as to meet and learn from Palestinians living here in the Northeast, it is obvious that, even before the events subsequent to the 7th of October, Khalid's framing is correct. Having seen it firsthand during 3 visits to the occupied West Bank over the past 10 years, the brutal and oppressive nature of the occupation, and how with deliberate cruelty it impinges on every aspect of people's lives, you cannot but view Israel as engaged in anything other than a colonial war on the Palestinian people, a war it continues to engage in with complete impunity. 3 months on since the ICJ gave its intermediary ruling that Israel's actions in Gaza constituted a plausible genocide and that it must desist from such actions, and over a month since the UN Security Council's resolution calling for an immediate ceasefire during Ramadan, leading to a lasting and sustainable ceasefire, Israel has continued with its butchery and has done so with undiminished support from the US and most European governments, for whom there are apparently no red lines. Allied with this is a role played by the Western mainstream media, including here in the UK, whose portrayal of Palestine and Palestinians is unremittingly negative, and which, by dehumanising Palestinian people, sustains the Israeli narrative that it is a victim which is only trying to defend itself against irrational forces and is justified in using any means of this.
Mick wasn't expecting this, but for all of Mick's bravery, dedication and commitment to his walk to Palestine on foot over 2,000 miles, and his bravery, we would like to present him with the symbol of his dedication to the Palestinian cause and the fight and liberation of the Palestinian people. Welcome, Mick. We wasn't expecting this.
Who holds the moral authority? Is it Ambassador Zomlot? or is it our Prime Minister and Leader of the Opposition? Because the refusal to call a war crime, you don't win that moral authority back. That will stick with them. They will be tainted by this for a long time. The bombing of hospitals, the Flower Massacre, soldiers opening fire on people just trying to get food. Human rights and the support for human rights should not be contingent on getting the right headline. And anybody who dare speak up, I've been on national radio, and you know the first question they ask you is, but do you support terrorism? Why is it that we cannot just tell the truth?
I was so proud to be taught by my prep school teacher, Yusra. In this genocide, I was able to spot her in different social media videos, standing or walking in different places, but around the Shifa hospital or inside it. And I wasn't sure why is she always there. Why didn't she go to the south? And then I knew that her beloved son, Dr. Ahmed al-Maqadma, was actually working at Shifa hospital at that time. For me, when I saw my teacher at Shifa hospital, I was like, I hope she would survive. I hope she and her son would stay alive and stay together. And so for everyone. And I was thinking, why is she doing here? Why is she staying by her son? She's thinking that she will be protecting him. But is she actually protecting him? Would she be able to protect him if the Israeli terrorists and savage army came to the Shifa hospital? Would she be able to protect him? I said no, but she's a mom. How many of you here are parents? The Israeli army easily abducted many, killed many, and they abducted Dr. Ahmed. His mom, Dr. Yusra, couldn't leave him. She was also abducted by them. And both of them were interrogated for 3 hours together by the Israeli army. After that, Israeli army let them go and told them, walk to the south. They did. They walked to the south. But while we were walking to the south, Israeli army did the expected thing as they always do in the safety time. They sniped them. They opened fire over them.
So through the studies, I was speaking to Hanina, where we both looked at maps, history, and the progression of the land grabbing within the West Bank, where they tried within Gaza, and also used some of Hussam's research to do so. Also in the future, I'll be writing my thesis in the using of modern methods and constructions to be able to rebuild Gaza, inshallah, using BIM and new technologies, and to grow, to expand Palestine. And I only say this because essentially we all have our own parts to play. And it shows how each and every one of us has a path that facilitates such and the achievement of a fully sovereign state of Palestine, fully recognized by the international community.
We've been through a lot, and we always came back. Always recovered. We will recover. We will rise. We will rebuild. And I always say we will rebuild Gaza as it was, resilient and beautiful. And therefore, my friends, we must really be set where to go from now. We must insist, all of us, work together for an immediate and permanent ceasefire. Because it has got to be immediate and it has got to be permanent. We have to work hard to help rebuild Gaza because the destruction is immense. And make sure that humanitarian aid is unaffected. We must ensure accountability for every war criminal. Every war criminal.